All right, well, the last time we had the trucks out, Cameron's steering servo died. So I'm gonna replace that real quick. We've got this Injora Servo, nothing fancy, but it should do the trick. In theory, I've never done this before, so this could be interesting. Unplug the lights, put the top over here. I had this apart before to make sure that the servo was what was actually broken, so these screws are kind of out already. And a little disappointed. He does like driving this in the water, but feels like it's only 6 months old. I'd say we've had it out, I don't know, 10 times, maybe a little more. It seems like it shouldn't be dead already. Now that we've got these screws out, we can unhook the servo from the receiver. Now, one of the things that's important is to make sure we can plug the new one in the same way. So, don't want to lose this, but I think what I'll do for now is pull the cables, ribbons out here. This one goes to the speed controller, and that's the one for the servo. Let's stick that back in there. And just leave that there for now. So the servo wires are zip tied in place, which is unfortunate. I didn't clean this, but you can tell they're here. So I've got some scissors. I'm gonna cut those off. And I might have more zip ties, but I won't bother doing that on the video. Get that out of there. Get this out of there. All right, now then, slide the cable ribbon out from under it. Behind everything, it does go, is that under? No, just alongside there. It's just very, very squeezy. So there we go. Switch the bit here. This guy. That's too big. Let's try this one. Give it a shot. So these screws are pretty interesting. They go all the way through the servo into the body below to hold it in place. You can see they've got a crazy little washer on them. We'll see what it looks like. The new one is mounted pretty different, so might have to use some different screws. They've got some stuff that they've included in here. We'll see. You know what? Just realized I'm taking the servo apart, not taking it off. Stick those back in. I'll stick 2 of them back in. We could take that apart and look at it. It's not very interesting in there. There's a little motor and obviously some electronics can do the control. So these are just 4 more these little hex bolts. Mounting this to the body here. It's going to be probably fairly tricky to get out just because of where it's positioned. And actually I'll disconnect the steering here. So this little steering bar, get that out. Back of it rolled away on me. And all the pieces came out. You can see we've got a little kind of ball so that it doesn't fit too tight, and then a little spacer, it looks like. So put those aside. Now the steering is loose. Not connected to the servo anymore. Makes it a little easier to connect and disconnect here. Get these other screws out of there. There's one more, there's two more on the inside here. These are extra tricky to get. Since it goes through the suspension supports here. Okay, one more. Gotta kind of dig through all the dirt too. Oop. Oh, I see. Okay. It's kind of leaned up on the box for the servo there, or for the receiver. Okay, there we go. Now we should be able to pull the servo out. Might have to undo this suspension link. Maybe. Yeah, okay, so we'll undo this one in the front here so we can get past it. And we'll just set that off to the side. Or I think it actually just comes straight up. Either way. There's that connection. Yeah, so that one can't go off to the sides. Come on. Oh, the cables. Causing some trouble there. I guess I'm just gonna push. There we go. Okay. Oops, I gotta unplug it. So there's the servo out. Obviously, as you can see, the new one. I'll have to put this arm on, but basically fits in the same spot. So just go ahead and swap that. Oh, woo. Swap that over right away here. I'm sure getting this calibrated just right is going to be tricky, but it is what it is. So I took that out, and I'm just literally putting it right on top. Hopefully it fits. Get it kind of down in there. Just like that. Okay. Now, let's get that untwisted. Gotta feed this in through here. It's fairly tricky, I'm sure. Probably easier to put in and to take out. Let's flip this back over for a moment. Okay, so here we've got the brown lead. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed this through here so that it goes through the same way, and then I'm just going to go ahead and unplug this one and just plug this one right in right away. That way I don't have to think about, you know, whether I'm doing it right. Or I don't have to remember that. Just copy what was there, drop that in like that. Voila. Okay, old one goes away. Buy old one. The new one comes in So now obviously we gotta try and get this in here. It's gotta fit. So let's get the cable out of the way. These go right like that. There. Problem solved. Flip it back over. We'll screw it in. And any adjustment we need to do on that we'll do after the fact, of course. I think I'll screw that in first here. Just go backwards from what I did. So there's that all connected back in place. Nice and snug. And then we'll get these 4 screws in. And boy, these are very unsurprisingly dirty. Out of there. Hard to put in place when they're so dirty you can't start the screw. Tighten that all the way down just yet. We'll get all of them back into where they go here. And before I get too far, I will plug it all in and test it. That's important too, is I want to make sure that the... Actually, you know what? I've got it all plugged in. Battery's in it, because I just left it in. All right, I've got the remote. Let's get the truck plugged in. It's gonna be a little weird with the receipt or the. Actually, we can probably get this stuff. Well, at least I'll put it over where it goes, and go from there. Okay, plug in truck. Okay, and I can see the. Yeah, I have to. Interesting. Happened. It worked for a moment. Receiver on. Oh, you know, the battery might actually be dead. That might be what's going on. Appears to work the way I would expect it to, hopefully. And who knows, I also am not a huge fan of the receiver and transmitter for this. It's just not great. Okay, I'm gonna feed this back through. Oh, I need to screw this in all the way. Clearly did not get it in. Right. Let's do that first. Okay. Careful not to squish that. The remote servo in place. So that it actually screws into the body. There we go. Yeah, that feels a lot better. Okay, there's one. I have one on the back side that I started. Backside, and I'll have to charge the battery up and hope for the best on that front. It should be all set to go for the next time around. Looks like I probably shouldn't balance it on the body supports. They don't seem to be as strong as I hoped. It's okay, I'll just be careful. Hold it up a little bit here. so there's that all screwed back together. Get the steering hooked back up, and then looks like I'll probably have to take this off when I do the adjustment on the steering. Which is what it is, I suppose. And I wonder if this was between. Oh, it must be between. It has to be between, because otherwise it wouldn't work. Okay. So I put that little washer in between the servo arm and the steering arm to keep that all up the way it's supposed to be. And now if I turn these, you can hear the servo go just like you would expect, which is great. So get that, I'll feed this kind of down through here like it was before, back underneath. Again, like I said, I don't know if we'll see. I might not actually zip tie that in place. TBD. The downside to zip ties is that you have to cut them. I'm not the biggest fan of this either. This little enclosure is very tricky to get wires fed down into. Either that or I'm bad at it. Both possible. It's squishy. There we go. And that is that. Just gonna squeeze that in there like that. And get this back in. This is the little gasket. There's a little slot for it here. Which I find particularly challenging to get it into, but once it's in, it kind of sits in it. Does a pretty good job. Keeps most of the water out. And then screw this back down. And little screws here, and it should be good to go. And I also need to do a better job keeping the trucks clean and dry after we get them home. Otherwise, things tend to break. I also need to lubricate these, especially the transmission. You can hear them in the videos, they're pretty loud. And that's because I haven't cleaned them and lubricated them recently. So hopefully I get some time to do that at some point. But this is all back together, and I think I'll try it. We'll see. Let's plug it all back in. Like I said, this battery is low, so I'm not holding my breath for steering. I'll pick the front end up. I have the remote right here. Set it down there. Pick the front end up. Oh yes, very nice. That's some great feeling steering right there. Yeah. And that is it. It's all set. I have the body to put back on, but I'm gonna do that after I charge the battery. So there we go. One servo replacement on a Element. This is a Trailwalker, but they're all basically the same. Nothing crazy here. All right, I hope you guys liked that video. I'll see you on the trails.